I'll never forget there was a time in my life where I was struggling financially and I started to get pulled down and be like, wow, I'm doing all this internal work. I'm transforming in these different ways. Yet my financial abundance is not showing and not reflecting back to me in my world. What is going on? And I stayed in this mentality until I realized I was getting so hung up on focusing on the lack of abundance in my life. I didn't really understand what abundance even was. So I sat with that and I was like, okay, well, I was having a moment of speaking with God, with the universe, with the source, and I was just having a conversation. And I was asking questions around like, what is abundance? You know, am I seeing it wrong? Am I not, is my perspective limited here? What do I need to learn in this moment? And I sat with it and I realized, as I reflected on the last number of weeks and days, that I had been supported in so many different ways. That abundance was all around me. I was just choosing to not look at it. My preferences for abundance were getting in the way. And this happens oftentimes throughout our life with many different things. Then I was also looking at these moments where I had people reaching out to me and there was people calling me and people checking in, and all of these moments signaled that there was just so much abundance all around me. An abundance of support, an abundance of resources, an abundance of time. I had plenty of time around those moments. So much time. I was like, wow, I didn't even notice the abundance of time that I had. What am I going to do with this time? Instead of panicking and freaking out and worrying about the abundance of money, why don't I enjoy, first of all, the abundance of time and relax, chill out, and allow some ideas to come to me? I had an abundance of ideas, right? I had an abundance of ideas, and then from there, I had an abundance of time to execute on those ideas. And then eventually, I was able to increase my abundance financially. I was like, wow, what a blessing. Something that I was not seeing for such a long time because of my perspective and my preferences for how I thought life should be was getting in the way. And I was able to kind of let go of that and zoom out. I was able to see all of the areas where I was supported. I was able to look around and see that, wow, you know what, there's actually a lot of abundance. If I was taking a walk in the park or in nature, I would see there's abundance everywhere. Everywhere. Every blade of grass, every leaf, every tree. Like I can't even count all these things. I go to the beach and try to count all the little bits of sand. Couldn't possibly do that. I wouldn't want to try to. There's an abundance of it. It's everywhere. It's beyond me. As I sat deeper with this as well, I meditated on it and I felt myself being a part of all of that as well. You know, sometimes the most helpful thing that we can do is actually just to get out of our own head, get out of our own computer, our phone, and just reconnect with just the abundance that's all around us all the time. And it helps us shift our perspective on what abundance really means and how much of it there really is. And it allows us to zoom out of our mind for a second and see that, hey, it's just our mind freaking out about the way things should be. If we can take a breath and just drop that for a second, we can see that there's abundance all around us. But it's our choice and it's our free will on where we want to direct that attention and focus. It's another reason why gratitude is so powerful. Because gratitude allows us to be grateful for what we have, you know? A roof over our head, some food in the fridge, maybe there's some clients you're working with, maybe there's time, maybe there's clothing, maybe there's friends, maybe there's just support, maybe there's just an abundance of options. An abundance of options is actually one of the best ones because it's like, okay, well, my finances or my support or my time may not be what I want it to be in abundance, but there's an abundance of options for me to go and to find a new path. So there's always a possibility. It's just that we get stuck in our head a lot of the time. At least for me, especially early in my journey, and even now today as well. I still got to catch my mind, zoom out, and be able to see that, the ego and the mind gets wrapped up in ideas of the way things should be, and it loves to be a victim. Poor me. It loves to be saying, yeah, well, I wish things were better. This sucks. But if I get to choose my own perspective, why would I choose that one? And sometimes in those moments, it's actually, that's the lesson that we're learning, is to actually see that the abundance is all around us. And that's the thing that actually helps us shift the situation that we actually want to shift. When we kind of let go of it, we surrender to what's happening around us. Not surrendering because we're weak or because we're giving up, but we're surrendering with the resistance that we're creating against what we think should be the way, or the way things should be. But the deeper I go into this journey, the more I see that the options are always there. Sometimes we have to just allow ourselves to see it. And that can be the biggest shift that can happen for us. So I hope this message was helpful to you, sending you lots of love and blessings in your life, no matter what is going on in your life right now. You got this. Lots of love.